Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat, and welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be with y'all today. Good to see you. Good to see a Kit. Good to see a Rox. Good to see a Brayherd. And Kit, congratulations, you have won the crown of Firstendom, the crown of forgiveness and tears, because that's what's going to happen in this game today. Because we're doing more in his time. Really liked the first time we were playing this game, so I want to check out more. And wow, Roxy with a 40 stream streak. My goodness. You are the favorite, apparently. So anyway, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's get on into it. The fact that the title screen has no music always makes me worried that the audio is screwed up. Anyway, we're going to church. It's all right for me just to let myself in. Oh. Wait a minute. That's Joseph and Dad. Were the two of them friends? It's not quite the right voice. This desk is a serious mess. I'll just leave it alone. Mansion is not a church. No, but we have to meet Joseph. Because we're going to meet with him to go to church. Why is your bed down here? Hey, Joseph. Hey. Oh, sorry, Ada. Oh, he's out cold. There must be a way to wake him. Sturdy-looking screws have fastened the cover firmly. In place, it won't open. Okay, so we need a screwdriver. We need some gears. Wait, that looks like a screwdriver. Small screwdriver. Marbles from the freezer. That would wake him up. That would, in fact, wake most people up. I probably don't need this anymore. I'm gonna throw it away. Hey, Liz, so good to see you. How are you? I don't know, what kind of hair did Joseph have? You can't see it, but it's great. You're 1 year old. Oh my goodness. Wow. He's napping. Aw. I hope the little one is growing and doing well. Oh, that. Ah, okay. I was like, I can't move it left and right. I hope life is good in Redacted. Here, 1-year-old supposed to be napping, but he's mad instead. Well, he's mad he's supposed to be napping. I have learned this is what 1-year-olds are good at. Oh, the power's on. I can see clearly. Oh, who in the world is this person? I don't know, but swoopy hair and long. Gotta return the power. We got a gear. Their husband being mad, being picked up and restrained, mad when he put them down, now he tried to get this stop climbing the ceiling. Yeah. There are no registered speed runs. Wow, I'm on world record pace. Look at me go. Somehow I don't think Speed Demo Archives is going to accept my my speed run when it's split up over multiple streams, but you never know. Oh, I'm like, why isn't the power working? Oh, have it going the wrong way. Okay, so there's a 3-hour video, so we just have to beat it in basically in an hour, and we have the world record. Okay, we need one more gear. Where are we supposed to get one more gear? How is life in Redacted, Liz? I won't say where because don't want to dox you, but I hope life is good there. Happen to just... I do just have a gear on me. I don't remember where that came from, but I have it. Oh, what the... Who's there? Sheesh. I do wish you'd wake these old bones a little more gently. I did try, but you were out cold. Okay. Well, still, you're here rather early. Yeah, you told me to come in the morning. I forgot that morning means something different for you kids. Hey! Well, how'd it go yesterday? What happened to that part that little last struck? Oh, right. I did as you told me yesterday. And It just worked out somehow.
Rupa.
Mila and I were able to talk normally. Here you go. Horn-shaped part. Why, you got it back. I'm impressed, Ollie.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, yesterday you said you had something you wanted to show me at church, right? Yes, that's right. It's still a little early, but shall we get going?
Huh?
Yeah.
Karafana.
We're about to arrive. About to? This is where it begins, I'm afraid.
Munta.
But it's right over there. You can even see the church from here. Well, you see, the uphill is going to be very tough for me. You can wait for me at the top.
Liamna.
Okay, I'll go on ahead. For young legs like yours, it should be no problem. Go talk to the people who came today. Life is good. Start out a new job. Hey, that's awesome. Life is defined by child's milestones. I understand that. There is not a parenting channel in the Discord, but that doesn't mean that there can't be.
Hmm?
Hey, Ollie, you came to church too? Great to see you.
Huh?
Do you always go to church? More or less.
Salitum.
My mom took me here when I was little, and I've been coming ever since.
Milina.
And you're not going up?
Cry mama.
They asked me to look after the graves. I'll head up later. Excuse me, lad. Did you come here with Joseph?
Católica.
Yeah. Do you know him? Oh, I mean, it's nothing.
Karafana.
Are you here for church too? Oh, not quite. I work here. Is he the pastor? Church pays me to keep this area looking nice and clean. Oh no, he's the groundskeeper.
Purpona.
Couldn't you go to church first and then get to work? Error. That suits me better than going up to some fancy church on a hill. Also, the guy in charge tasked me to do this, and I'm not good at saying no. What guy in charge? Oh, the pastor. He's probably up there already.
Hey.
Well, if it isn't Ollie. Did you come with Jasmine?
Raymond Boca.
Yes, and Elliot too. It's nice to have the whole family come to church together.
Liamna.
It feels like he's only here because I dragged him all the way here, though.
Católica.
Where is he? I don't see him anywhere. Maybe he went to the graveyard. Ooh. You doing okay, Joseph? I managed to make it up the hill again.
Hey,
Joseph, are you okay? You're here earlier than usual. If you waited at the bottom, I could come lend you a hand. I brought this young man with me today. I wouldn't want to embarrass myself in front of him. Who is he, Joseph? Let me introduce you. Ollie, this is Charlie. He's the pastor of this church.
Purpona.
Nice to meet you. Didn't you used to have a beard? You must be remembering my father. I only recently became pastor of this church. Charlie, this is Ollie, Ben's son. Oh, really? How wonderful. All right, you two, come on in now. You can get rest inside until until we get started. What do you want me to show me, Joseph? I'll tell you later. Let's go inside now. After a while, Pastor Charlie stood up and began his sermon. Whenever I didn't understand something, I'd ask Josephine to kindly whisper me an explanation. Aww.
Rupa.
So, Joseph,
Munta.
the pastor keeps talking about forgiveness.
Tataprota.
Is that the same thing you talked about yesterday? Yes, you'll do well to remember it. Just as God forgave you all through Christ, thou shalt forgive one another. This, for me, is the most important teaching of all. Ollie, you and I are already forgiven by God, and all He seeks from us is that we do the same.
Rupa.
The same thing? Let me tell you a little parable. That may make it easier to understand. Let's say I incurred a great debt towards a king, and the king tells me he wants the money returned right away.
Karafana.
You should return the money as soon as you can. Well, of course, but there's more to this story. Imagine that the debt is far, far too grand, too much for an old man to ever pay back. I tried to pay him back a little at a time, but it's just not enough. This is sounding like a scriptural parable. I work very hard, but the debt only grows the more and more I work. Oh, sorry. I missed.
Kostenzun.
I may as well have been executed for not returning this debt, but then
Munta.
the king feels bad for me and he decides to eliminate all of my debt.
Prota.
He must be a really nice king. Yes, that's right.
Purpona.
I'd feel so happy to be free from debts, so I'd go for a walk, feeling nice and refreshed.
Lamestone.
But then, well, let's say I run into you. Me? Huh?
Rana Pai Pai.
That's when I remember that you borrowed money from me.
Matoto.
I will go over to you and tell you to pay me back the money as soon as possible.
Hey.
And then you will say, please wait a bit, then I can pay you back.
Inimina no.
But I don't forgive you since you owed me money. I corner you angrily and demand my money.
Kailitoy.
If the king heard about this, what would he think? He probably wouldn't be happy
Tutolika.
after he eliminated all that debt. Exactly, Ollie.
Papa na yomi.
It's like I already forgot how much debt I had been in.
Tata Prota.
Joseph, you're a good person.
Rupa.
You know, just like you must be a bad person. Haha, now that's quite the thing to say.
Game.
However, you'd be quite wrong, Ollie.
Great, Dina.
Is that a little hard to follow? Yeah, a little.
Rana Pai Pai.
That's a shame. I'll try to speak more simply next time.
Purpona.
Ollie, I need to talk to Charlie.
Papa na yomi.
Could you play by yourself over there for a minute?
Tutolika.
You said you'd show me something later. True, I did say that.
Rendi game.
How about this?
Purpona.
The thing I want to show you is in the cemetery. Try to figure out what it is. We can compare answers later. It's his dad's
Papa na
grave.
yomi.
Are you sure? Okay, I'm gonna go find it. Before you get there. That's the spirit. I like the retelling, though, of that parable. That is one from scripture.
Pray mamai.
Oh, you want to go to the cemetery?
Purpona.
Yeah, through there. Sounds a little fishy to me.
Glamestone.
You should bring an adult with you. Why? Because you'll have to defeat me if you want to get through here. I can't believe this. What? You got some spare time on your hands, too?
Rupa.
I guess. Why don't you hand me the tools on that bench? I'll show you a cool trick you can do with them. Okay, 7, 3. I'm old, but I can spin it with one
Papa na
hand.
yomi.
I want to try too.
Ilivankar.
Can you only spin it in one direction? No, I can do it the other way too. It's just there are some things I have to memorize for my job, right? So I spin in these certain way to help me memorize better.
Rupa.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay, so... Hey now, can I borrow these? Those clippers are dangerous, don't touch them. Look, can you spin it around like this?
Branca,
Oh,
branca.
cool. Right? Okay, so 3's counterclockwise, 7 is clockwise. That's a cool little way to do a character interaction with a clue. Your sprinkler looks like it's out of commission for now. Looks like something can be attached here. Ah, it's a combination, so I probably need one more thing. Ton of beautiful flowers. I almost forgotten that Kaylee runs a flower shop. Really? That seems like a rope has been passed around the cart's handle. If this thing came down the hill too fast, it might end in disaster. Are we gonna cut the rope there? That sounds like a bad idea, Ollie. Blue handle. Okay, so it's just the 2 numbers. It feels weird for a combo lock to only have 2 numbers. Huh? A sprinkler's on. Did I already finish my work? Quick! Steal the shears! Ollie, it's a terrible idea.
Tata Prota? Mimi
Braga.
Ollie, just because you learned about forgiveness doesn't mean you get to do whatever you want now. What the? That almost hit me. Oh, what can we do now? Oops. Are you okay, Jasmine?
Deidi.
You surprised me, Ollie.
Duga,
I can't believe you defeated me. You can go on in now. Are you sure?
Glemes.
I just wanted to mess with you a little.
Pray mamãe.
You can't pull dangerous stunts like this anymore, okay? Right. Sorry. Little too calm.
Carafana.
This is where Joseph was talking about.
Gran Melina.
What a lonely area, but maybe something's here. Until the day we meet again, this grave is for someone named Susan.
Carafana.
What are you doing here?
mãe.
Oh, it's you, kid. Rare to see anyone here. Are you always here by yourself? I don't think that has anything to do with you. This is my mother's grave. Oh, I see. I was imagining the look on her face if she could see me now. Don't you end up like me, you hear? Something's under construction here. I wonder what's being built. It's like a massive... It's like a massive, grave marker. Oh, I should be writing things down. So 167. 271. Hey, wait a minute. That looks like my locket. Okay, I feel like I'm onto something here. I don't quite understand what this center button's supposed to do. Sign looks oddly familiar, yeah. Strange design has been drawn here. Oh! Oh, I get it. Okay, I get it. I get it. The two, I need to do the center button as well. Okay, so 1, 6, 7, 2 center, 7, 1. My precious locket. I've never seen one of these up close before. Not a hipster. Ollie, is that you over there?
Oh.
We heard a loud sound a minute ago. Are you okay?
Upona.
You two are late.
Tata prota.
I tried pressing buttons in this locket like it's how it's written here. His thing popped up. Well, that's certainly amazing.
Upona.
Is this what you want to show me? It is. Did you know this is Ben's grave? Maybe you haven't been here in a
Tata
while.
prota.
Oh, right. This was Dad's grave.
Tutolikan.
I forgot. I had to do a lot to get here.
Rupa.
Were you friends with my dad? You could say so. He was a friend from work.
Tata prota.
Did you know about this grave in my locket? Oh, no. I certainly didn't know about this mechanism. Oh, what was in there?
Kiemna.
This? A record? Let me see. It's different from the standard ones. My record player at home might not be able to play it. Ben must have been planning something with this. Ben always liked to design things like this.
Kiemna.
What kind of stuff did my dad make? All sorts of things, including lots of little jokes. Stuff like this. Right, our church asked Ben to make this.
Tutolikan.
I was curious, what is it? A clock tower. I've been trying to finish Ben's work on it. In other words, it was your father's final work.
Branka, branka.
Whoa, is it almost finished? Well, once I get back the parts you took, it'll just need a little more work. Oh, so that's what the parts are for.
Tata
I'll
prota.
do my best to get the parts back. Haha, very well. All right, Ollie, time to head back.
Hey.
Wait up, kid. What is it?
Mm.
It's none of my business, but
Tora nana.
you'd be better off avoiding that man.
Munta.
You mean Joseph?
Roy
He lives the
Momoka.
same kind of life I have.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you, that man is a traitor. Why would you say that? I think he's a good person. A good person.
Popora.
I'm telling you this for your own good. I don't trust you, Elliot. We just met you. Shall I walk you home, Ollie? It's already dark at this hour.
Kiemna.
That reminds me.
Tutolikan.
How's it going with my mom's medicine? Dev has 2 games out, operate under the name Teary Hand Studio, which appears mostly to be one guy named Yona, Japanese Christian, which is something of a rarity. It is indeed. Well, I have been thoroughly enjoying this little game. I'd be curious to see what the other game is. About that, it's going to take a little more time. I see. This medicine is a gotcha machine. Oh, wait, Ollie. What is it?
Munta.
I just got worried about Mom all of a sudden. It's okay, Ollie. It'll be fine. There's nothing for you to worry about. She's probably relaxing at home right now. I'm digging these interactive and metaphorical cutscenes. It's a really cool way to tell a story. Mom, are you okay? What's the matter? I'm the same as I've been this morning.
Karafana.
You're gonna get better, right? I'm gonna get you some good medicine. Oh, she's... Thank you. Good night, Ollie. His day job is working only Kodansha.
Telegran Melina.
Explains why they're publishers of his games. Oh, cool. It's okay, Mom. Mom will definitely get better.
Karafana.
I need to check if she's well today. Are we gonna get hit in the feels? How do you feel, Mom?
Aha.
Oh, good morning, Ollie.
Nara mai luna.
I feel fine. I'm fine today. You sure, Mom?
Lemna.
Yes, don't you worry about me.
Da prota.
Right, I'll deal with all the chores today, okay?
Mina
Oh, you don't have to. You did such a thorough job yesterday, remember? Instead, I have something to ask you.
Bourbona.
What? I'll do anything. Ask away, Mom.
Sana.
Could you bring me a glass of water? I'm right on it. It should be enough for now.
Da prota.
Here you go. I'm standing on your bed for some reason.
Aha.
Oh, thanks, Ollie.
Nara mai
I feel a little
luna.
better now.
Gran Melina.
Is there anything else I can do?
Mm-mm.
I said I'm fine, Ollie. Relax.
Mimi na
Go to
nola.
school. Don't worry about me. Okay, got it. I like how this story is being told and how it's unfolding, and especially the incorporation of Christian elements without, like, a lot of Christian games, as we've seen, are like beat you over the head. And this is like, no, it's part of life. It is a very central and guiding part, but, you know, letting it unfold and inviting him into that sense of relationship with God versus, you know, beating him about the head with doctrine. See you later. Be careful, dear. I can't help being worried.
Tutolika.
I'm sure Joseph will figure something
Da
out.
prota.
I just need to think about the parts.
Gran
I
Melina.
hope Hugo comes today. Rotata. Only play on stream if you prepare to ugly cry on camera. Oh dear. Well, you know. I prepared something for today's Rotata. Today is the memorial of Hilary of Poitiers. And this actually, the prologue is a Byzantine tradition, kind of a book of saints for the day. And this is what it has to say about St. Hilary, Bishop of Poitiers. Hilary was an ardent combatant against the heresy of Arius in the West. He suffered much because of his defense of orthodoxy. Hilary wrote many works. The most important was his thesis about the Holy Trinity. He reposed in the Lord in the year 369. So an important early figure in orthodoxy and doctrine. But our gospel today, for just the ordinary time, is a demoniac saying, you know, have you come to destroy us, Jesus? And there's a lot going on in that, in terms of
Aha.
sort of the metaphysical ramifications of who Christ is and all that. Oh, Hugo!
Whoa.
Ah! Ah! It just runs away.
Aha.
What are you doing here, Mr. Policeman? Hello, Ollie.
Shiny too.
I had something to discuss with the teacher here. Is it about the stuff we did before? No, not that. Something much earlier.
Da prota.
Oh, that's good.
Lemna.
Apparently, there's been someone sneaking into Joseph's house since long before
Worse
you.
than Zoom.
So I need to do a little fact check.
Uh-huh.
Oh dear, I've said too much. Yeah, you have.
Ha
Hey, Ollie. Hey, you're here early, Mila. And you're not late today. Good boy. Oh, don't make it sound like I'm always late.
Hey,
Good morning, Ollie.
Huh?
Good morning.
Rupa.
I see you came to school today with time to spare.
Mhm.
Quite a lot of time to
Papa
spare.
da Yoni.
Yeah.
Mimimi
Everyone seems a little
Nonoma.
quiet today.
Minota tapa.
Bobby's running late, too. Did something happen?
Punta.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Minota tapa.
There's still time before class starts.
Hey.
You can spend it however you like now. My locker's clean now.
Rupa.
Did you clean this?
What
Huh?
things
Oh my,
you-
it's totally clean.
Mhm.
It's always nice to see things cleaned up properly.
Hey.
Very good, Ollie. Huh? Oh, I think Lila cleaned it for us. Hey, Craig. Oh, don't run away, Hugo. Leave me alone.
Gran
I can't. I
Melina.
have to get back that part you stole.
Uh-oh.
Bad chance of that happening.
Mm-mm.
Why though?
Uh,
I'm begging you, give those parts back.
uh-uh.
Never. The door's closed. Must not be time yet. Maybe I should check things out around here. Came suddenly saying, "Hey, do other things."
Liemna.
Oh, someone apparently cleaned my locker for me.
Liemna.
Huh? Oh yeah.
Ta prota.
Thanks, Mila.
Bramga.
All right, it's a little early, but I'll open the classroom. Go on in. It's kind of weird that the classroom's locked like that, but whatever. Looks like Bobby's not coming today. Has anyone heard anything from Bobby? It's going to be a quiet class today. This might be a little difficult, but so be it. Let's try solving more problems today. Ollie, I'm expecting good things from you. Yes, sir. It's face matching time. Oh, I think I've already made a mistake. Swoopy and Freckles. This is probably the part of the game I like the least. Bowl cut, long hair, nothing special. Oh, it was Freckles. Romans 8:28. Based on the theology, like of what, I can't remember his name all of a sudden. The old man. What he was talking about with like forgiveness is the most important. That's a very low church Protestant view, and I don't mean to say that pejoratively, but like that's. I would, the fact is that Christ does say the most important commandment is to love God with your whole heart, and then to love your neighbor as yourself is the second. So the fact that he's saying that, oh, I think forgiveness is the most important, is kind of an interesting thing, but not necessarily bad. I think there are ways of phrasing that, and if that's what is helping him in his life and helping him seek his relationship with God, great on him. But I think if you were to ask me to write that scene as a Catholic, I would probably write it a little bit differently, but that's... Feels? Yeah, this game has feels. How you doing, Trekkie? Oh, nice. Everyone is doing wonderfully. I'm touched. Especially you, Ollie. You're very capable. You should be very confident in
Ta
yourself.
prota.
Wow, I did it! Very good, very, very good. So does this school just teach us how to match people in a police lineup? Alright, we've covered a good amount. It's still very early, but we'll call it a day here. I'm in a hurry today. Be careful on your way home, Hugo. Wait, Hugo! No, he got away. Guess I have to just go over to Hugo's place, but I have no idea where he lives. Maybe Mila knows? No, Mila ran away too. Hey, Mila.
Liemna.
Do you know where Hugo's house is?
Karamai.
What? Now you want to get back what he took too?
Ta prota.
Yeah, I guess.
Rainy Stone.
Well, I don't really know exactly where it is,
Karamai.
but it's somewhere around this area here.
Ta prota.
Gotcha, thanks.
Evdina.
I hope it works out for you.
Uh-uh.
Liemna.
What now? Do you need something else? I'm glad I know the general area, but
Rupa.
I still need to know exactly which house is his. I can't
Rainy
help there.
Stone.
I know which way he goes when he leaves, but I've never been to his house. I see.
Liamna.
You don't have a photo of his house or anything. That could help. Wait. Wait. Photo of his house. Got curious and dug deeper. Nice. No, that's actually, like, I would not have known anything about that in terms of Kodansha being big. Wait, let me look at the photo again. Okay, so it's like yellowish with a circular roof. Or circular window. So that's a little creepy. You know, it's just investigation. There we go. There you are, Hugo. What? No, wait!
Liamna.
You can't go there unless you accurately reproduce the photo. Yeah, you have to first remember what a place looks like before you're allowed to go there. So all the other locations, we had to piece together what it looked like. Including our own house, but that was in a dream. Get back that part. I'll have to do the same thing I did with Mila. But I haven't forgotten. He'll go trap me in the school. On top of that, he lies to me about practically everything. I don't like him one bit.
Uh-huh.
Excuse me.
Aha.
Coming.
Tata prota.
I'm Ollie. I go to the same school as Hugo.
Gruppo.
You're a friend of his? How wonderful.
Uh-huh.
Come in. Come right in.
Oh.
No, don't!
Nara mai Luna.
I didn't know you had a friend, Hugo.
Peligran
It's the
Melina.
first time anyone's ever come over.
Tata Prota.
I can't read. Well, there was this Bobby boy.
Peligran Melina.
I'm happy for you, Hugo.
Miliran kan.
All right, you two enjoy yourselves.
Pona.
Thank you. Ooh, hello. This looks like the thing that was in the picture. Or behind the picture. You came all the way to my house.
Punta.
Yeah, I mean,
Branca.
you want the part back?
Porpona.
Yeah, I do.
Uh-uh.
Did you talk to the police?
Porpona.
It's okay. The old man told him not to do anything to us.
Oh,
see.
Tata prota.
All I need is for you to give back what you took.
Uh-uh.
I can't.
Punta.
Why not?
Carafana.
Why can't you tell me?
Hmm.
Because I said so. Rat. You take care, Step Zero.
Tata Prota.
Aren't you going to play with Hugo?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, we're gonna play.
Peligran Melina.
Well, it looks like you're over there arguing.
Uh-uh-uh.
Oh, tell me you two got into a fight. Not at all. We're about to start playing. Pretty table is inside. It's almost as beautiful as ours. I guess Hugo's mom has pretty good taste too. Oh, come play with me, Hugo. What's with you all of a sudden?
Carafana.
Your mom's looking at us like she's worried.
Uh-oh.
Makes sense.
Papara.
Since you showed up out of the blue.
Peligran
You
Melina.
don't want to make your mom sad, do you?
Uh-uh.
Don't you have anything to play with? Anything?
Uh-uh.
What kind of weird threat is that?
Purpona.
We only have cards, though. Want to try?
Sai Maloy.
You ever played Concentration? No, but I played Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! Can I counterspell your Blue Eyes White Dragon?
Peligran Melina.
Maybe a long time ago.
Marana.
First, you put the cards face down.
Basta in zone.
Then you pick two cards. If they have the same number, you can keep them.
Naramay.
Then you keep going and choose more cards.
Branca.
But if they're different, you put them back and it's the next person's turn.
Uh-oh.
Whoever gets the most cards wins.
Liamna.
Now remember. Okay, Allie, you go first. No, I failed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, too bad.
Naramay.
Now it's my turn. Wow.
Hey.
Ah, yes. Huh.
Lininina Nola.
All right then. Huh. I wonder if he's cheating. I just have this
Uh-huh.
sneaking suspicion. Hehe. What? Guess that's how it goes.
Munta.
Is that how you play concentration?
Delikata.
I think so. Only one label is different. Why are they all the same? 7. 7. 8 and 8?
Rupa.
Let me try one more time.
Uh-huh.
You know the rules now, right?
Turpapara.
Okay, time to rematch.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead, Ollie. What was that last
I'm
time?
Aloy.
Just a fluke. Calm down.
Uh-huh. Blamey Stone.
Okay, those remain the same.
Giant Loyo. Uh-huh. Papa Naomi.
Lurk. Hey, thank you for the lurk, Trekkie.
Limiminanola.
Playing cards, huh? Nice.
Miliran
Hugo's
card.
strangely good at card games.
Mm,
It's almost a little uncanny.
Woo!
His dad could never beat him.
Miliran card.
Can't tell you his secret.
Limiminanola.
He's cheating. You know it.
Aha.
I'll give you a hint.
Rupo.
This look is a 5.
Naramay Luna.
This is a 3.
Munta.
Okay.
Miliran card.
See if you can figure out what they mean.
Purpona.
Hugo writes notes to help himself memorize and then leaves them all over the place.
Piligran Melina.
Might want to look at his belongings around the house.
Santa Prota.
I'll give it a try. Thanks. Mrs. Something telling us to just be like, oh, just check everything. Just look at his belongings. Okay, so this is the setup. So it's either aces that way or aces that way.
Caravana. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Okay, so there's something. So where was the other 7 in relation to that? Was it this one? No.
Uh-huh.
All right, I'm just gonna write out my notes.
Purpona. Hey, hey. Tutorikan. Uh-huh.
Okay, so we gotta find the ace.
Turpapara.
Or not ace, we just find a thing.
Caravana. Uh-huh. Giant Loyo.
Eight and
Piligran
eight.
Melina.
5. No!
Uh-huh. Piligran Melina.
Oh, there's a different layout. It's not just flipped.
Kailan. Caravana. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Some of them are flipped, though. That's the weird thing.
Shalitum. Teilikata.
No. Ah.
Uh-huh.
it's ace and ace. Still 8, still 8. That's king.
Roma más. Hey,
Right, it was directly below.
tutulikan.
7 and 7. 3 and 3.
Papa Naomi.
I feel like there are more clues that you're supposed to be able to find because, like, obviously this one, the king is always in that position, or one of the kings is always in that position.
Urpona. Uh-huh.
This doesn't match any of my notes.
Uh-huh. Lost in zone. Hey. Pima tutu.
Is it rotating?
Uh-huh. Simon Lloyd.
So the 8s are always one space apart like that. I don't know what the 7 is supposed to represent. A notch in the card. Oh, yep, you're right. Yep.
Oh. Aha.
Rupa.
Okay.
Ilirancar.
Limiminano. Peligran Melina. Corafana Milirankar.
Wait, hold on. What was...
Haha.
Okay, so...
Aha.
That's a 3. Okay.
Rupa. Munta.
So we know what 5, 3, 7, 8, ace, king
Milirankar. Corafana.
on one of them. So now we just have to find the matching. Oh, okay.
Liamna.
I get it.
Uh-huh.
So you pick the one that you don't know. So, like,
Uh-huh.
this one has a notch. We know that's a 7. We know this is a 5 because of the squinty eyes. This is a 3. This is always a king right here. Aces are in corners. 8s are always 2 apart from each other. So if we pick this one, it's an 8. The 8 has to be there then.
Tataprota.
King, king,
Flaming Stone.
ace, ace. 3, 3.
Oh.
Wait a minute. Haha, this is a taste of your own medicine. Clean sweep. Okay, that was a cool puzzle. Oh, wait, this is crazy. Or are you onto me now? You're an amazing cheater.
Try mamay.
Impressed you noticed.
Uh-huh.
You're smart, Ollie. I know you cheat, but still. Do you play cards with your mom a lot?
Uh-oh.
No, it's been a while since we
Branca.
played. I used to play a lot with my dad a long time ago. But not anymore.
Uh-oh.
My dad died. Let me see.
Tataprota.
Hey, Hugo.
Grafana.
How did you used to play with your dad? Let's try playing like that. Huh? Well,
Shiny Vine.
it's the same as what we did before, but the card's more scrambled. Something wrong?
Randy Gamer.
Why are you playing with me?
Tataprota.
Well, it's just because I wanted to get the parts back.
Coronana.
What? Did you forget we trapped you and all those other things we did too?
Uh-oh.
I don't get your deal. I don't think I can ever forget what you guys have done to me. It was really horrible.
Totolikan.
I don't like you,
Tataprota.
but I think it'd be better not to dislike you. That's why I came here today.
Rupa.
So let's have some fun.
Oh.
Okay, sure.
Purpona?
So what was it like with my dad?
Bye, Matoy.
So it'll be a good match today. I guess so.
Whoa!
Woohoo! I win again! Again? How? Dad, do you want to play one more time? Sure. That reminds me.
Hermana Guy.
I hear they're going to host this at church next week.
Quetero.
It's a summer party. I'm sure it'll be fun. Okay, so we've got volleyball, ice cream, and games, I guess.
Carafana.
I don't really have any friends to go with, though.
Duga.
Ah, don't you worry. Your mom and I will go with you.
Uh-huh.
Really? It's a promise? Stamp card. Kids summer party. All are welcome. Hey, you made it, Hugo.
Hey,
Oh, Jasmine.
Duga.
No, I'm a jamboree.
Uh-huh.
I prepare a really fun game.
Reptina.
If you beat the game, I'll stamp your
Oh.
card. Return the card once you collect all the stamps.
Nana.
Then I'll show you something special.
Ninanola.
Okay, I'll collect all the stamps. I'll give it to you, Jasmine. Call me Jamboree.
Colorane.
You look like the usual Jasmine.
Oh.
Be quiet. This is a very important job. I like Jasmine. Leave this one to your dad. You get the ball into 3 spots, right? So do not like the physics of this. I got lucky with that cold one getting in there.
Hey.
I did it.
Aw.
Hugo, did you want to try? Oh. His dad kind of does everything, and that's why he cheats. It's the only way he can win it at
Nara
anything.
my luna.
4 scoop ice cream challenge sounds interesting. This is my cup of tea. This is exactly how you serve ice cream.
Woohoo!
Oh, look at that. Pretty good. No?
Nano.
You can have this, Hugo.
Purpona.
We'll eat the misses ourselves. You didn't miss, though. With your hand. Yeah, that's exactly how you serve ice cream.
Papa Naomi.
Look, Hugo, did you see that?
Quetero.
There's a coin in this cup. I was going to be shoveled in with these empty
Uh-huh.
cups. Don't take your eyes off that cup. We're doing 3-card Monty at a church event. This seems wrong.
Digi la lama.
So which one has the coin inside? That's it. What? I won. I won. Why? 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 No.
Woohoo!
Me watching this. Nailed it. Well, I didn't even know which one it was. You can keep the coin as a prize. Isn't that special, Hugo? Golden coin.
Hey,
Renting game up.
I got it all done. And so fast, too. Let me see your card. My, you're so fast. Very well. Very well done, Hugo. Well, it's not like I did it all by myself. All right, Hugo, stand back a bit. Congrats on beating the game, Hugo. That looks fun over there, too. Stay still, Hugo. Don't run too much now. Victor, what happened? I don't know. Feeling sick all of a sudden. Dad? It's the first time this has ever happened. I thought it was no big deal. This face got darker and darker by the day. Anyhow, how about seeing that doctor now?
Di kilala
Miliran ka.
Sure, we'll find another. I don't see much use in treating you. But if you insist on having an examination, then you must come to see me before anyone else. Something seems different than before.
Hey!
Oh, hey, it's rude to see me last. Don't forget that. Oh, it's a logic puzzle. So, Jack first, Queen not last. If only I was more beautiful than that woman. I need something more stylish. Oh, medical exam? Sorry, I'm not in the mood. No, it's not a problem. Just bring me something exciting. Let's use that elevator over there. My suck won't budge. Dr. Queen! Dr. King! You haven't been seen by Dr. Jack yet. Not yet? Well, we must keep him waiting. Go and see Dr. Jack first. So, King after Jack. Came to see me before the Queen. How kind of you. Queen's really busy. So, people come to see me first. Let's get this examination started. You can trust me. You won't find a better doctor in this whole country. Gap on the right is really annoying, I know. If you can find a nice box to stand on and jump over it, that'd be great. Okay, so I think it's Jack, Ace, Queen, King. Can you hear the echo of something opening in the distance? Oh, hey, Dr. Jack's open.
Hey!
You came to see me first? Very courageous. Let's begin the examination. Wait, what about the money? I require you pay in advance. Once you pay, I'll do a proper examination. Whatever you have will do, I guess. I have a coin. That'll do. This coin is actually worth more, if anything. I'll have to give you a little something later to thank you. Now on to the examination. Oh, I forgot one thing. You know, doctors King and Queen? One of them is a huge liar. Be careful. You pay me more money than my services can provide. You can have this to make up for it. Oh boy! You really trust that doctor? They just get a lot for their services. You don't trust that doctor? That's not what I mean. I just think we should check with other doctors. But we need to save up as well. That's what I thought. Can't push that up the stairs.
Momarana. Duga. Hey! Lamna. Destai!
Okay. So that doesn't change. Oh, the box has changed. Look. Okay, so if... I really love the puzzles of this game. They are very clever and emergent. Although I need to be... I need to be at the Jack's spot to do this properly. So what I need to do is I need to push the box this way, up the king's ramp, into Ace's area. Maybe? Okay, and then I can... So I can push into the Queen's area, and then I have to push it to the right into the Jack's area. Or into the Ace's area, I should say. I thought that's what I'd be able to do, but apparently not.
Hey!
It's rude to see me last. Don't you forget it. Anyway, it's more beautiful than the other one. Not in the mood. Maybe the problem bring me something exciting. Is ice cream exciting? No, ice cream is not sufficiently exciting. Oh, hello. You can't have this. Special treasure I bought in a country to the south. Hit the key somewhere you'd never imagine. You'd never figure out where it is. Somewhere edible? You can find the key, just try it. Small key. Gorgeous hair accessory. Okay. Huh? Oh, hair accessory. What did it? So you saw Jack. You can trust what Doc Jack says. He's always honest. Now, let me have a look. I'm sure it'll be the same result either way. That hair ornament, where did it go? Right, about the door. It was only open when all the doctors are in. That's just how it works. That doctor is pretty arrogant. I'm sure we can trust what he says. No, I refuse to believe that. Irene, you can't just keep saying that. Oh no, Irene's in... Says who? I'm worried for you. Irene is in denial of his medical condition, the fact that he's dying. This is it. It matches me perfectly. Oh, thank you for... I'm feeling more motivated now, if I say so myself. I'll give you a proper examination. Oh, and I'll let you use that elevator. All right, Victor, it looks like you've had a tough time. I'll give you a proper examination. Okay, by the way, do you know the doctor named King? I don't hear good things about him. He's quite a liar. Don't believe anything he says. Unless you're the liar. Thank you for still a token of my appreciation. Now the elevator is working. Give it a try. Are you okay? I'm fine. Just let me work. Can't work in your current condition. I'm fine. I can do my job. Okay, now that we can push this up to here. Ooh, I almost pushed down the stairs. That would have been bad. Now we can put it lined up. Why does that not line up? Oh, that's not even what I wanted. I think I was overthinking it. So now that it's here, now I should be able to... Yeah, that's all I had to do. Okay. Whoa, what are you doing? Why are you two fighting at such an important time? I didn't intend it to be this way, Hugo.
Tata Prota?
I'm just worried about what will happen to him in the future. Well, my friend, you look like a liar.
Hey.
Can you see me? Well, I'm an honest person. Don't believe what's written there. Just believe what I say. No, I don't think I will. Okay, so we need to see Jack first. So I think it's this order to get to the door. Yep. Jack, I think. Words honest and liar have been written here. Definitely a liar. Queen was honest, but the king was dishonest because the queen said so. We know the queen's not. Okay, so the queen's a liar. So even though Ace was a liar, he was right that the queen is a liar. We've been to so many doctors. What we learned is that it's a very complicated illness. It references Karenia on this island. Lots of time passed since we discovered he was sick. We've been stuck with doctors that are difficult to deal with, and as my parents kept fighting, Dad started to smile less and less. I still kept believing until the end that the two of us would play again one day. But that day will never come now. I realized something. It's just not about that one day. He won't be there when I wake up for every day. He's gone forever. I hate everyone. The doctors who mess with us. And my mom, too.
Branga.
Fighting was the last thing they should have been doing. If they'd worked together, maybe things would have been different. That's how I lost my dad, my best friend.
Purpona.
And then he came over to talk to me. Bobby, I mean.
Papa Naomi.
I was happy to have a new friend.
Papa Naomi.
Bobby's so strong, right?
Garafana.
Finally have a friend after all that, that's why... No, that's not it. I just... I didn't know what Bobby would do to me.
Naramai.
You didn't mind listening to all that boring stuff, Ollie?
Uh-oh.
Oh, we tried playing together. I can tell you don't like me. Oh, Hugo, I'm so sorry. Were you listening, Mom?
Miliran kar.
All the fighting with your
Tata
dad
Prota?
and ignoring you while so many intense things were going on.
Branga.
I've always regretted that. If I could, I'd do it all over again.
Branga.
Hugo, I wish I could do everything over again with you.
Aw.
Why are you telling me this now?
Munta.
I'm same as you, Hugo. I don't have a dad either. Ollie. Hey, Malgox.
Naramai.
Oh, this is the same people that and Roger made? This oh my goodness. I did not put that together. I checked out and Roger and I put it on my my Steam wishlist so I remember to get it at some point. Yeah, I've been I played this last week. This is our second we're continuing the story and it's really well put together. So, yeah, if and Roger is anything like this, then yeah, I'm probably going to love it and find it really powerful and really sad. How you doing, Malgox? Let's start things over. From today on, let's go healing.
Shiny vine.
About the parts. You're still scared of Bobby, right? Yeah, sorry. I get it.
Rupa.
I still want to give it back, but I'll try talking to Joseph about it. Is that okay?
Tata Prota.
Ah, we did enough today. I see.
Liamna.
Oh, right. I forgot about this. I stole out of your locker. Hey,
Pona.
I used to find where you live. Sorry to suddenly show up at your house. It's fine. Hey, yeah?
Purpona.
What's this Karenia disease?
Branga.
That's a weird thing to want to know about.
Dromamas.
I don't really know much myself. All I know is one
Shiny
thing.
vine.
It's a disease that no one knows much about yet. Something like that, at least.
Coronana.
Apparently, it's even called Karenia in this area.
Losta in zone.
The doctor said it might be more well known in other countries. So there's no medicine for it?
Garafana.
If there was, this wouldn't be so hard. It does make sense. Baby was crying. You are the third person in chat today with a crying baby. But I hope that baby is feeling better. But glad you're doing well. Oh, we're in our weird dream world again. No, that's not how you spell. Mad babies! Yeah, it's Mad Baby Day. He was so mad. Aw. He's what, about 6-ish months old? 5 months.
Liamna.
I knew I've heard of it before somewhere. Karenia. That's what my mom's illness was called too. Yep. There's no medicine for her condition.
Tutulika.
Joseph said he talked to the doctor about it. Does that mean Joseph was lying to me? I have a feeling Karenia is not a real disease, but is more of a polite way of saying something like cancer. Clock hands are not supposed to behave like that. Today was mystery. Yeah, it can be like that. Joseph, I trusted you. So why don't you go talk to him about this? He lied to me. He was just using me to gather his parts. I'm gonna go confront him directly. You can make an emotional mystery game where you have to deduce mad baby problems. But sometimes there's not a solution. Wait, you're the guy.
Hey.
Huh? What are you doing? That's like it.
Lirangar.
Hey, what's Joseph like as a person? Hey, you got quite a look on your face there. He's a coward. He betrayed us and his family too. He's the kind of person that does that. I see. You just keep saying maybe it's teething until it actually is. And then presumably until it's can no longer be. Sometimes it's who knows what. Well, then you get to the toddler stage, and it's a whole nother thing. I love, there's an image of someone, and it's their child in a shopping cart holding a Chucky movie, crying furiously, and the caption is, they're upset I wouldn't let them take the Dolly movie home. Why, Joseph? Why? Doors locked tight, won't open. What if I learn more about her illness and buy some medicine for you? Return the parts stolen by your 3 friends. This developer's really good at these surreal dream state puzzles. You misunderstand, Ollie. You always need to forgive the other party first. Oh! Ah! These corners are a little finicky. You live the same kind of life I have. I'll tell you what that man is. A traitor. So, you're a traitor? So why are we trusting this guy who's a self-professed traitor? So there's no medicine for it? Oh. If there was, this wouldn't be so hard. Oh man, that's so cool. The magnifying glass revealing what Ollie thinks of him right now. Oh, that is some really good art. Why would you do this, Joseph? Why would you lie to me? Huh? Ollie, is that you, Ollie? You lied to me, Joseph. What's wrong, Ollie? I know everything. Slow down, Ollie. Did something happen? You just used me and calm down.
Дойлі Мейн.
Tell me what happened, Ollie, one step at a time.
Рейк Діна.
What did you hear?
Група
Hugo told me.
до Толіка.
You said they don't know much about Karenia yet. There's no cure for it. But you told me you'd get the medicine. You said so. You said the doctor told you. I see. Ollie, I'm sorry.
Піма Тото.
What you said is true. I lied to you.
Ренді Гейма.
At first, I didn't know much about your mother's illness.
Ренді Гейма.
I promised to get medicine before I knew anything. When I asked Aaron about it, I was astonished.
До Толікан.
There is no medicine to treat Karenia. I kept meaning to tell you, but I was too ashamed.
Бранга.
I couldn't bear to see the look on your face when I told you. I felt sorry for you. It was wrong of me, Ollie. You can say that now, but it won't make Mom better. When she dies, I won't ever get to see her again.
Кайлі Той.
Ollie, please stay overnight.
Папа на
It's
Йомі.
already late. I'll sleep over there. You can use the bed.
Ренді Гейма.
Tomorrow, let's think about what to do together. Yes, we'll think this through together. Mom's health was definitely getting worse little by little. Such a terrible illness.
Група
She didn't tell me that. That's right, Mom will. Soon I'll never see her again.
Ей,
Oh, you're awake.
А-а.
What were you doing?
Піма Тото.
I was praying for you.
А-а.
Praying for what?
Пайсана.
Well, in short,
Дойлі Мейн.
I pray that you can walk a straight path.
Телегран Меліна.
You mean that my mom gets better? No, I know it's hard to talk about, but
Бранга.
in case she doesn't get better. I don't know what you're talking about.
Рана Пай-Пай.
It's nothing weird or bad.
Марана.
I lost my wife and child, but I still continue to move forward. What does that have to do with anything?
Е?
Because I am forgiven.
Мунта.
Forgiven? You said that before. Why do you need to be forgiven? Are you a bad person? Yes, I am.
Піма Тото.
It's a long story. Will you hear me out? Oh dear. Ready
Міліран
for the feels, I think. Right. Thanks, Ollie. I was called the master of this island. This is back when I was still young, of course. I don't mean to brag, it's just true.
Папа на
There were
Йомі.
no other clockmakers on par with me at the time. Nope. One of these big ones has got to go there.
Гостинзун.
A family member introduced me to Ada, and we got married. It took some time before we saw eye to eye as a married couple.
Бранга.
things went pretty well after our daughter Malin was born. One day, a rather bold man came to visit us. He said he could make something even better with skills like his. His name was Ben. Your dad. You must have a reason to say that. I'm sure you can do it. No, Joseph. We could make something even more amazing if we worked together. Together, huh? In the end, I did work with him, though our ages were apart. Thanks to Ben, our creation sold more and more. I didn't get to finish reading that other part. Everything was going well. But money tends to attract the unsavory. I didn't have any clue at the time. Stop her. You don't know anything? Well, let me show you how to bet properly. Uh-oh. Was that okay? Of course, know that I'm happy to spend time with you. I've always been so serious. All of this is new to me. Has he fallen in with the wrong crowd? I like that these gears are starting to be broken. It was unbelievably fun to hang out with them. Before I knew it, I was living for those meaningless moments of joy. It was from then that the cracks gradually started to appear. Oh. Oh, we started living entirely for ourselves, did we? Regardless, I continued doing the same things over and over. Gambling addiction, drinking addiction. Oh, green bottle of wine. I had no idea. No idea that there was something inside me I couldn't control. Hey, you're still working? It's a holiday. Let's have some fun. I still have work to do today. Alright, it's already 7:20. Let's get going. Why, you're right.
Duga.
What are you over there daydreaming about?
Hey.
We're just getting to the fun part. Oh, quite right. You remember how to throw properly, right? Guys, let's mess with that dealer this time. And this time, don't drink too much when you lose. Oh dear, so Joseph is involved. The groundskeeper of the church. Drinking and gambling just don't mix. Tell that to the casinos. Dartboard clock. Wine, poker chip, die o'clock. Perfectly cromulent hours. Oh, okay. So I probably want the die to be something like 5. So let's make it 735. Why not? Oh, no. Never mind. That is not me setting it. That is... Oh, poker chip equals 1. Oh, we're going to have to do some math. Get out of here, wine glass. This gear seems to be about 3. How much is my family worth? Oh, my family's only worth 2? Okay, so 2 plus gear equals die. You have time today, don't you? No, I'm keeping myself under control today out of respect for my family. Ah, come on, tomorrow's a holiday, isn't it? You don't do this now, when will you? All right, let's do this. So 1 plus 3 plus 5 is 9. So 935? No, gear is... yeah. Because here's the thing. So the minutes has to end in a 5 or a 0. But it can't be a 0 because we have to be able to put a card on it. So die has to be 5. And we know that die equals 2 plus... Oh, that's a 1. Okay. 915.
This die!
Oh, so the poker table is just to help confirm your numbers. Interesting. Just we've got so many orders coming in. Right. Could you handle things safe? Sure, but are you okay? Oh, I'm fine. Sure you are. Hello? I guess that's how I travel between these rooms. These are all sorts of weird gear ratios. You could take care of this too. Just feels like I've been doing almost everything lately. Must be amazing. I looked up to you. Hush, I'm busy, so just deal with it. Like, I know how this Othello works. There's the starting move. Okay, that's what I was missing. It's like... Okay, so I need to get them all. Yeah, I know that's not a legal spot. That's not where I was trying to put it. So we have to start here. And then... What if I position that there? No, that still leaves one out. Oh, I can start there. That changes things, does it? Does that change things? That does change things. What? That job's the last one. Didn't used to be like this. You were way ahead of me. I don't have time for your complaints. Okay, and then we'll need just a little more. Blue bottle. So if you need to stop drinking. It's nothing to worry about. Mind your own business. Oh no. Hey, GameX. Doing well. I believe you'll return to your old self someday. I'm praying for you. Shut tight. I no luck opening it as it is. Symbol of a broken gear displayed here. Yeah, it looks like our drinking is driving our protege slash employee away. Timing on these hammers is a little weird. Ben stopped coming over. After some time, I got a letter. It's a letter he left behind for me. He died of an illness. That's when I first came to my senses. I felt like I had killed him. I felt relieved to learn that his condition had nothing to do with overwork. I was a horrible person. I only cared about myself. Mysterious card. Aha. So now let's go back to the bar, or to the casino, I guess. So I do have a bottle to put in here.
Mimimino nova.
Made a grave error, but I kept repeating the same mistakes.
Paisana.
An addict. Told myself over and over that I couldn't keep doing this. Okay, so we know 2. Die is 5. Chip is 1. Wine glass is 9. Gear is 3. Oh, good. Another bottle. Yeah. Yeah, that's... yeah. Okay, so spade, diamond, club, heart, diamond. Alcoholism is bad. It is, and but I want to couch that by saying we can't demonize people who are struggling with it. That will not help, and I know you're not, but I need to vocally say that in this space. So spade, diamond, club, heart, diamond. Okay, so there's something else afoot. Oh yeah, no, I absolutely know you weren't, Roxy. I know you're speaking from personal experience. But I had to say that out loud in this space, especially for the VOD when there isn't chat. Spade. Diamond. Club. All up in the club. What piece of detail am I missing here? What am I not seeing here, chat? We know the order of the suits. Is it descending? Is it 10? No, then I can't make it descending. Is it ascending? So if we start with a spade, then we can do diamond, club. No, that's... I didn't mean to click twice. Diamond, club, heart, diamond. Club first? I mean, that's what it was last time, but that's I'm going off of this and like basing it like this is what it's depicting on the cards now in front of me. So you know what? It could be club first. I'm so bad at telling the difference between clubs and spades for some reason. So if we did club, diamond, that should be spade. Or diamond? Okay, that was what... Thank you, Petroxy. I don't know why, but my brain just does not seem to get those. Oh boy, sliding puzzles. Oh, hello. 11:30. No point trying to solve it. Well, that's just quitter talk. Except I think he's right. I'm looking at this and we have way... And again, maybe not. So I have to get this up to there. You'd think that with as often as video games use them, I might actually be halfway decent at slide puzzles at some point in my life. Well, let's just try the clock. It's 11:30. I'm sure there's an achievement if you can solve that.
Bum, bum, bum.
Joseph, are you okay?
Primo tutto.
You can't sleep there. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
You went out drinking yesterday, didn't you? No, I had work.
Carafana.
Work that involved drinking.
Minota tapa.
No longer knew what was important.
Regina.
The destruction spread into my home. Water is pouring out from behind this portrait. Maybe I should plug it. Hey, we have something to that. Hey now, are you okay? Why the cry? How's your son doing? You said you'd tell me his name, right? Why does it matter to you? I want you to help me. But you were so drunk all the time, you had no idea what was even going on. I didn't spend much time at home. I was basically either at work or out having fun. Everything at home went on without me. Use the fabric trimmers on the rope. It's super effective. We don't need your help. What are you doing? I was too focused on myself and had no idea my wife's health was deteriorating. I don't need anything, I'm fine. I didn't know how much our daughter was struggling. Was there an easier job out there? I started thinking about that a lot. So I need to stop hanging out with those friends of yours so I can buy more alcohol and gamble. This looks like the card we're supposed to use here. So beard is up left. Beard, long hair, short hair, straight, doot, doot, doot. Okay, so short hair is a straight one, so I need to rotate this 90 degrees. 90 degrees. Long hair, 90 degrees. Or, no, long hair. That one can stay as is. That was a cool puzzle. I like the symbolism of Joseph not being used. I've been helping her since I got here. Why don't you do something too? At one point, my wife collapsed. She was doing work she couldn't handle to make up for her useless husband. I forced her to sink into such a deep sadness. Ada, Ben, it's all my fault. My daughter, Malin, went off somewhere. I have no idea what she's doing now. I lost everything, and in the darkness I regretted everything. I'm sorry, Ada. I've been so wrong. So please don't go. It'll be okay, Joseph. You've regretted enough. I've lived a good life. I've been granted plenty. Ada. Without you, I would be empty. You mustn't be afraid, dear. I'll be waiting for you. We'll meet again in our eternal house of heaven. I'll be waiting for you there. You can see now what a hopeless old man I am. Since then, I've been living in order to make up for what I did. Because I will be able to see them again.
Карафана!
So I can see my dad again too? Yes, and your mom too. I
Тутоликан!
don't think I understand. I see. Ben might have been able to put it better.
Карафана!
Just remember what I told you. That'll do.
Hey,
Well, your mother must be worried. You should get going. Right. I haven't given up yet, Ollie. There must be something we can do. Ask the doctor to look into the illness in more depth. You did?
Илигран Мелина!
Why would you do all that for me? Ben wrote it in his letter to me. He asked me to take care of his family should anything happen. At this point, I just want to help you.
Тата прота!
Oh, well, thank you. Excuse me? Oh, Hugo!
Duga.
Why are you here, Ollie?
hey,
What can I help you with? Sorry about everything
Dina.
before. Here's the stuff I stole.
папа наемі.
You came to give it back? Thank you. Are you okay, Hugo? You said you were scared. I'm fine. I've decided for myself.
Laisana.
Also, I know where Bobby lives. The last part must be there. Maybe if we talk to his family, we can get it back. Thanks, Hugo. Could you show me the way there? Of course. Ollie, I'm headed to Bobby's house. I owe it to you that Hugo returned the part to me. Thank you.
Темна!
I'm going too.
Тутоликан!
That's my task to do. Okay, but before we do that, that's where we're going to call it.
Минута тапа.
This is where Bobby's house is. Yeah, it's in my neighborhood.
Глеймі Стоун.
There are lots of hills around here. It's really down there. This is getting to my legs.
Гостейнзун.
You go on ahead. I'm going to walk down slowly. Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
How about you go first, Ollie? Huh? Why? I'm scared of Bobby. Well, so am I. Okay, that is an excellent place to call it for the day. And also, timing-wise, works out perfectly. A nice cliffhanger for next week. So, thanks so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good being with y'all today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Join us again tomorrow for more Minecraft. Thursday, Banjo-Kazooie. And then next week, Monday, Dream Drop Distance, finishing that off for sure this time. And next week, we'll be finishing this game and then potentially starting our next Spirituality Tuesday game. We'll see how long it takes. But yeah, I think this is a really well-written game, and I love its visual metaphors and its dreamlike states. I think it's really well put together, and it is full of feels. But yeah, so thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, all that good jazz. Thank you for checking out the YouTube and the Discord, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. And let's see who's live that we can raid into. Gonna go on over to Hollow Blossoms. Raid call is Father Raid, or have you gotten the Infinite Rocket Launcher? Because she's playing Resident Evil 4, and there's a point if you play it, if you like beat it and then play it again in New Game Plus and then beat it again, you get an Infinite Rocket Launcher, and it's hilarious. But anyway, go give her some love. She's a great person. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. God bless.